So today we're going to talk about technologies that allowed the age of exploration to happen. So we've seen from our maps, a lot of the maps before were not very accurate, were not very descriptive. So the first thing that allowed the age of exploration to really take off was cartography. And as we've talked about, cartography is map making. And the maps that were started to be made during the Age of Exploration, which kind of launches around 1400, were based on ideas from 200 CE. So this guy named Ptolemy came up with all these ideas, and because of the Renaissance, right, they revisited those ideas, and they came back into action during the Renaissance and made these maps even better. So as more discoveries were made, these maps got better. So the Age of Exploration was helped because of this, but then the more people explored, the more they found out, the better the maps became. So by the 1500s, we have globes are created. We realize the world is round, and so we start making globes. And in 1507, the first map that shows North and South America separate from Asia is made. Our next group of advances are going to be navigational techniques. And so we're going to study a couple of different techniques that were used to navigate, to get from one place to another. Today we use GPS devices on our phones to get us to places. They didn't have those back in the Age of Exploration. So we start with the astrolabe. And the astrolabe uses a position of the sun or the North Star. So during the day it would be the sun, during the evening it would be the North Star, with a special chart that they made to find your location. So you use this device and point it towards the North Star or the sun, and then compare your measurements to this chart to figure out where you are. So this helped sailors find distance north or south of the equator, so they can show where they are in relative to where the equator is. So whether they're north of it or south of it, depending how you're looking. Excuse me. The next navigational technique is the compass. It's something that we take for granted, but the compass wasn't always that accurate. So a compass is a magnetic device that shows north, south, east, or west. So it looks something like this. We see a compass rose on a map, but an actual compass, this thing will move as you move around and face magnetic north. And this helped explorers find their bearing and the direction they were traveling. So if you're in a boat for a long time, you don't always know which direction you're moving. So a compass you can look at and tell, I'm still going north, or am I going northwest? I keep going northwest and I'm going in a circle. So that helps you to stay on track. And the next thing they used was a thing called dead reckoning. And this allowed sailors to calculate their position based on using that compass, using their speed, and using their distance from a known point. So they could figure out where they were in the world, how far away they were from that point that they came from, and how far they had to go, if they knew where they were going. All right, so the next technology that allowed exploration to happen was in the boats. And the boat that came around during this time was called the caravel. And this boat was created by the Portuguese in the 1400s. It was small, fast, and easy to maneuver. So, but these boats take a whole bunch of people on them. But this one, you're easily allowed to kind of go around rocks or go around areas and get into areas that you couldn't get before, because they had a shallow bottom that allowed the explorers to go close to the shore. The big boats they used before had such a big bottom that you'd get stuck as you tried to get closer and closer to shore. But these shallow bottoms allowed you to get pretty close to the shore. All right, and finally, this boat used a triangular sail. So it moved as the wind moved. So before, a lot of sailboats had these kind of rectangular sails that could only blow in one direction. But now we have these triangular sails that can move, and you can adjust as the wind's blowing, so you can always be going the direction you want. You just have to move the sails. The final advancement that allowed the Age of Exploration to happen were weapons. So these people explorers were going to areas that had never been discovered by Europeans before. So they wanted to be prepared for whatever they would see, whether it's animals, whether it's people. So there are improved guns and armor coming around. So these explorers could fire cannons from their boat to the shore. So if they saw people out there, right, they could shoot before they even got there and say, we're coming in and you're going to let us in. And the native people, the people that they encountered when they came to the new lands, when they came to the Americas, when they came to the West Indies, didn't have matching weapons. They didn't have guns, right? They might have had knives or bows and arrows, but they're no match to guns. And so they could outpower the people if they needed to. So those are some of the technologies that allowed the age of exploration to happen.